Interview process. Louise attended the occupational therapy interview process. Within the interview, she was required to interact with a small group. Prior to this group activity, a discussion took place where she informed me of her disability, what she might find challenging, and what adjustments would need to be made. The group was set to activities, one of which was to problem solve which items out of a box were most important if stranded on a desert island. The group had to decide between themselves and pick out 10 items. Louise communicated to the other members of the group that she had a hearing impairment and that then, when speaking, it would help her greatly for people to use a radio aid system which she had brought with her. She also asked that people didn't speak at once and took turns to speak. Louise discussed this very appropriately with the group and came across well and confident. The group had no issues with this and the activity commenced. The group worked very well together, giving each other the opportunity to join in the discussion and each played their part. Louise's involvement was very appropriate and she appeared happy with her involvement. Preparation for placement. The majority of my involvement with Louise throughout her OT studies was mainly in connection with her 3 clinical placements. I met with Louise prior to her first placement to discuss what adjustments she felt would be needed within a clinical setting, in line with the Equality Act 2010 and Coventry University's policy on supporting students with a disability. Her main concerns were around: she is unable to use a telephone, how would this be overcome within a placement setting? Communication with patients. She was concerned that she would struggle to understand patients and they would struggle to understand her. I found a placement within commutable distance for Louise within an acute hospital setting and contacted the educator to discuss Louise's situation. The educator was very happy to arrange a meeting with myself and Louise in order to problem solve these areas of concern. We met together at the placement venue and discussed all concerns that Louise and the educator had. The educator stated that it would be a learning opportunity for the department too, as it would encourage the staff to rethink communication styles and strategies. It was agreed that Louise could undertake the placement. The reasonable adjustments were: if a phone call was to be made, another OT or member of the team would do this on Louise's behalf. Louise could then read the notes and discuss the outcome with that staff member. When introducing herself to patients, Louise would explain about her hearing impairment and ask them to use the microphone system. Louise can also lip read, so this strategy could also be used on occasions. It would be a case of trial and error to see what worked the best. Louise would ask patients to repeat what has been said should she not understand responses. This pre-placement visit gave Louise confidence prior to starting the placement, not only in meeting with her educator and putting her mind at ease, but also, I believe, in problem-solving some situation which she might find difficult. These strategies could then be transferred over to her next 2 placements if they worked well. I completed a halfway visit in week 3 to monitor Louise's progress. She was progressing very well and enjoying the challenge. The placement was a successful experience for Louise. Following this placement, Louise took part in a placement debrief session where all students reflect on their clinical experience. This enabled Louise to reflect on what worked well and what didn't work. The same process was undertaken with Louise for her level 2 and 3 placements. Each time I met with Louise prior to matching her to a placement, then spoke with prospective educators and set up a meeting for the 3 of us to meet and discuss what adjustment could be made. Each of Louise's placements were a successful learning experience for her. Her second placement was within older adult inpatient mental health, where she was required to relocate for 10 weeks. Her third placement was within outpatient neurology. Throughout her studies at Coventry University, I noticed that Louise grew in confidence and became very adept in communicating with members of the MDT and patients. This process supported her throughout her studies and enabled her to get the most from her clinical placements, working towards obtaining her degree in occupational therapy. I am very proud to report that Louise gained a first, which reflects all the hard work, commitment and enthusiasm Louise put into her 3 years at Coventry University.